There seems to be non-dual teachers saying that the thing that's happening in the society at the moment doesn't exist. Do you agree? Hope this finds you well, and thanks for the live stream. The problem is, Kate, is that you most probably think this is really sci-fi and this is really far-fetched. But if I speak about that subject on my live streams, they get blocked from people. It's not quite like that. What they do is they suppress the video. They've got algorithms that go through the video. So every video that goes onto YouTube, the way that they, you know, like maintain that like really bad stuff isn't put on YouTube, they have algorithms that go through it and scan particular words. And there's something about me, maybe I'm already like a bit of a red flag. And then there's something about me that if I say swear words and if I say like certain words, then I get suppressed, which is okay. I don't mind that, but I don't know what would happen in the long run if I keep doing it, you know, like video after video. You know, whether the account would be investigated or what will happen, which again is okay. So what it means is that I'm going to have to talk about things in code words because they're not intelligent enough yet to be able to distinguish these code words. So what's happening in society at the moment, not the Brexit thing, which is quite intense for all us English people, but there's something else that's happening in the world, which I'm sure most people are aware of. So I'm going to call that what should I call it? I'll call it cup. I'm just going to call it cup. So if you're tuning in after I've told you this, you're going to be like, what is this woman on? She's mad. So I'm going to call it cup. And then there's another thing where like some animals are like put in pens so they don't mix with other animals or they don't get in danger. So you could say that like we're all put in pens at the moment, and I'm going to call that postcard. So the cup is the first thing and the postcard is the second thing. So I can call it those two words. I'm so sorry, that's really confusing. So the cup is what's actually happening to us, and the postcard is like similar to animals being put in pens so they don't mix with each other. You know, like so the pigs don't mix with the cows and the cows don't mix with the horses. I think that the algorithm will not pick this up. So we got the postcard, which means that, and then the cup, which means the other. So nothing exists. So of course it doesn't exist. From a non-dual perspective, Kate, the cup doesn't exist and the postcard doesn't exist. There is just what's happening. All of that is in the world of known. And we use these words in order to identify meaning. So we put combinations of words together in order to kind of like have a sense of communal meaning about something. So by the way of me saying, I love music, you know all of that because you know that music means sound, you know that it doesn't mean quiet, you know that it means beat, you know all these things of what music are, and you know what love is because it's not hate, it's not rage. So we use these words as identifiers. They're not actually it. So music isn't actually music. Love isn't actually love. It's our way of communicating. If you're bilingual, or if you, then often you can get a better sense of this, of how language really doesn't mean anything. It's our way of communicating, and it's all like signposts pointing to meaning, and everybody's interpretation of things will be different. So one person's interpretation of love will be so different from another's. And this is why sometimes relationships can be hard, because meaning is down to interpretation. And there's some things that point more heavily to something. So you could say some things are more factual, but that doesn't mean that there is fact. Everything is still a pointing. It's not that there is a fact, but there's some things that are more factual. and some things that are less factual, like, so say the banana is yellow, that maybe it's more factual than that person is angry. Yeah. So that's on the ultimate level, it is all illusion. On the human level, then this comes to our personal views, and that hasn't got anything to do with non-duality. So then we have personal views, and there's a lot of people that are into, I can't quite say this word either because that will also get me flagged. Some people that are into like the flat earth is oh, well, maybe some people think that's truth, but if it's not truth, then it's so some people think that the cup is, who knows? I mean, I don't know. In the human world, I get told that that's happening out, but I can't see, like in my environment, I really don't see much change except the shop shutting and not being able to leave places or go places. So I don't know about that on the human level. My intuitive feeling is that there is something very wrong about postcard. Very wrong about that. And whether the cup is happening or not, the postcard, my personal belief is that this is very dangerous for society to go down that route. But a lot of people argued that. Like, I know my friends, I said that to my friends and that aren't into spirituality, like the friends from childhood, and there was just no response. And I think that a lot of people think that if you say that about the postcard, that the postcard is dangerous to society, they think that you're uncaring or unloving. I just think that you shouldn't give your government that much control. That's like, yeah. And I really appreciate what Sweden's done, even though in Sweden they've had difficulties with that, and there is lots of people judging that. I really appreciate that the government have really tried the best not to do the postcard, because, I mean, that's, I presume, if you looked at it in detail, that's the beginning of like dictatorships. Yeah, I really think that's a really hard thing, and I would hate to be in the government and a leader and make these decisions. But I really intuitively feel, my personal view, the postcard is not a good idea. Whether the cup is happening or not is really, don't know what's happening. I mean, it's all bizarre. I'm most probably from the generation that really doesn't believe news outlets. So I think a lot of people now don't because of the internet, but I've never been of the trusting of news outlets. I've seen it firsthand where stories can be really twisted. I mean, even if you think about like ex-partners that you've had, and then if you've ever heard like your ex-partners like recounting a story that happened between you, like it's like sometimes, depending on how conscious that person is, like sometimes it can be really shocking. And even though they're using events that happened, it's like really wildly different to what actually happened. But that's their interpretation. And that's the same with news outlets. Just because they're like paid and like work for an organization, it doesn't mean that they are trustworthy. They still have their personal view and personal agenda and their conditioning and their habits. The other thing that I would say about the cup is that I think it's really bad to scare people that much, like health-wise. I think psychologically that's really damaging. Like, imagine, we do this with airplane crashes. Like, every time there's an airplane crash, we put it all over the news. But imagine if they did that every time there was a car crash. Like, if you think of, it's like, I think it's really negative for the mentality and for the body and very unhealthy. Like, if you imagine it with thoughts. Like if you keep thinking about car crashes all the time, it's not going to make your body feel good. It doesn't mean that I can see the point in news reporting negative things, but I think that the news should be a lot more positive, because there's a lot more positive things happening as well. And I think this repetition of the media is dangerous for people's health as well. And I think that we'll see a surge in like mental health issues, also taking away people's ability to earn money. So mental health issues and illnesses. It also like puts the seed into you. I'm from the belief, like I'm a fan of like law of attraction, and I'm from the belief that you know, like if you keep obsessing about something, you can create it. You know, make it worse in yourself. Like if you keep thinking, I've got cancer, I've got cancer, I've got cancer, then in a way it's like that stress that you're giving yourself, and most probably scientifically they could prove this, that stress and that negativity maybe makes you more receptive to illness, and maybe more receptive to the growth of cancers. I think that we shouldn't shame people though for illnesses. Like everybody's going to get ill and die, and it's not always that the mind creates the illness. Like it's also part of life, and death is beautiful. The transformation into another form is beautiful. Like, so if you're ill, I'm not saying it's because of your mind and the way you thought. Like, death is a part of this life, and all of us have to endure that. So that would be my opinion. Postcard, very dangerous. Very dangerous. Cup, I don't know. What I do feel like I know is that putting that much fear onto a society is not good. Thank you for your question, Kate. It's on everyone's mind. If you've just joined and you wonder what cup and postcard is, then you're going to have to rewind and listen to my explanation.